Hello, welcome. This class we shall discuss how to create a registration form using HTML5 controls. Here almost all the HTML5 controls are used, like text, main, password, number, radio button, date, tell, URL, range, color selector, list box, then check boxes, then file selector, then text area. We have two buttons, either the button all the contents can be submitted or the contents can be reset. Suppose if I submit the query, then what all the values I submitted, they are displayed in another page. Right. How to create this form? Just in order to, before we start, let us see the number of various controls HTML5 supports in addition to the old controls. You can have type equal to text, type equal to tell for getting the telephone number, type equal to URL for getting the web address, email, password, then date, time, numeric value, then the range of numbers, then color picker using type equal to color, using type equal to checkbox you can have multiple values to be selected. Type equal to radio, you can select one of the values from a number of values. Then file, to open the file dialog. Then likewise the submit button, where you can submit either by means of a get method or post method. You can have email instead of the submit button. You can have the reset, all the controls are initialized to its value. And of course you have your type button. To start this, let us open let us create a new form. For example, I just delete all these things. Let me delete everything. I start from fresh. So Control S. Right. So even this also, if you want, I can start from the beginning. So let us delete this. And now let us create a new file. I call it as equal to myform.html. Right. I take the skeleton new HTML file. Right, this is a HTML5 declaration. This has the head section and body section. Alright, now let us take the form, and inside the form let us have the some heading to. This one is equal to say registration form. Registration form. Right. Inside this let us have a field set so that we can display a legend which appears as a border. So legend, and this I call it as a personal details. Let us save up to this. Let us go to the browser and let us refresh. We have only a registration form and the personal details legend. Right. Inside this now let us have a table so that the contents can be displayed properly. So let us take a table. The table has a row, and each row has two data. One data, table data, this is to display the name, and another table data which displays the input type. Input and type is equal to text, and since we are using the PHP, we can give a name is equal to some, for example, the employee name or simply a name, and the size is equal to suppose 25 characters, or you can leave it to default, and this one should be a required field. Therefore, this one is a required field. Right. Let us see how this appears in the thing. Right, name and other things. Likewise, instead of you watching me keep on typing, I just cut and paste a few things so that you can understand. This is the normal text, and likewise I have we can have other fields also. Say for instance, I can have one for the email, one for the password, one for the age, date of birth, and a number of things which I can use as a cut and paste method. So I copy it here. Right, now we shall see one by one. This is likewise, this is another row which has a table which has a mail type is equal to email for automatically checking the mail. This is the password, and the type is equal to password where the characters will not be displayed. This is the type is equal to number with a minimum value and maximum value. This is a mandatory field, and the variable name equal to age. Likewise, for the radio button, they should have the same name so that any one is selected, and this is what displayed on the form, and these are the values which are submitted during the form, and this is the check is the default value when the form is loaded. And likewise, this one is the date. You can have a minimum and maximum value so that the date what we give is within this range. And here you have a tel number, telephone, and here the telephone cannot check the pattern. Therefore, here you can check the validity. This is in the beginning. It should begin with any one of the digits from 0 to 9, and it should have a maximum of 10 characters till end. Dollar is the end, and the caret is the beginning. Likewise, URL will check for whether the address is a valid URL, whether it has the www or http or mail to or ftp. Likewise, we have a range which can have something like a knob, and this is the minimum value, maximum value, and it can have a step value of 5, and the default value is equal to 10. Likewise, type is equal to color. We'll select one color from a color palette, and here we can have a data list, which is a new feature in the a new feature in HTML, and this can be added to any type. And likewise, we have the checkboxes, and since we have the number of checkboxes and we want to display in another page, I named it as a variable name followed by 2 brackets so that it can be accessed as an array. Likewise, file is for opening the file, and one, of course, the text area which has 6 rows and 20 columns, and this is the variable which we will send along with the contents. One, of course, is the submit button and reset button. And if we save everything, and now if we refresh our form, then we can see that this name, mail, and other things. Suppose if I submit the value, you can see that because we put this one is a required field, this is here, this becomes a required field. And email, I cannot submit this because it does not match the pattern. Therefore, I give something abc@abc.eb.com. Now the form checks for the other field. Password is 123, and age is equal to, I cannot give this one is equal to 78 because we have specified the minimum and maximum value. Therefore, I give the value equal to 35. Yes, any one of the radio buttons can be selected, and date. Of course, this one is browser dependent. If you open in other browser like Chrome, if you click here, then the date opening dialog box will come, but it doesn't support in the Mozilla. Right, suppose if I say 11 and contact number, suppose if we give 123 and submit, you can see that because we specified the pattern, it does not accept. Therefore, I should give 7, 8, 9, 10 characters I should accept. Then if I give some web address and if I submit, this becomes an invalid web address. If I give this one is equal to say abc.com, then also it will not accept because it requires that what is the protocol. The protocol is http@www.abc.com. Alright, here we gave the value equal to 0, step value is 5, next is 10, next is 15, then 20 and 25. So 0 to 25 we gave, and we gave the step value is equal to 5. That's why it is making a jump. Here we can select any color, and that color is selected. In the branch of study, we can select anything, and we can select a number of checkboxes. We can open a file and we can select some file, and here this is a remark. This is for test. Alright, and now if I submit the query, therefore the form is submitted. The default form submission is the get method. Therefore, after the form, all the values are sent along with the variable name and the value. Variable name and value. Likewise, all the whatever we had, all these things are submitted with a value pair value. So this one is not safe, this one is not secure, and because it has the length restriction also. Therefore one more method is the post method. Therefore we shall go back to our here, and in the case of a farm, we did not say I can give a name is equal to something, say my farm, which is not required. But for all other fields I have given name, therefore for uniformity I am accessing this as a name. And this one is equal to method. Method can be either a get method or post method. The default is a get method. Now suppose if I send by the post method. And this one, in case what is to be done, therefore the action, which program is to be executed, therefore the action is equal to suppose I can, so this one is equal to say show data dot the PHP. Right. So this is the thing where the data is to be submitted. Now let us write a file called show data.php. Therefore I take a new file, I call this one is equal to show data.php. Alright, so now this is a PHP file, this is processed at the server level, and therefore this is the closing tab. Right. Here since we are sending the data by means of a post method, therefore we shall take the post method. Otherwise even we can have a get method or post method. Therefore here we can say that this one is equal to echo, and now this is a dollar underscore, since we are sending the post, right, post, and what is the variable name? The variable name is equal to the name. Then we put a blank line by means of a bracket. Alright. So now let us save it, and let us save everything, save all the files, and let us go to the browser and let us refresh this. Suppose if I run this again, and if I type some name and here some password and email abc.com, and suppose if I submit the value, right, age is equal to something 35, and suppose if I submit the form, then whatever form I submitted, it is available there. Likewise we can extend for everything. Suppose in the case of a get and post, here I can submit everything by means of this content. So I go to this one, and here suppose if the instead of get method, suppose if I use the get method, all these things are get method, I save it everything, and there in the form I change, instead of the method post I say the method get. Right, Ctrl S, and now we save everything, save all, and now if I refresh the page, and if I do all the contents, then something abc at abc.com, password is 123, age is equal to 35, and date of birth 1190, and likewise contact number 12345678910, and web address equal to http something www.abc.com, and my default value is 15, and this one color is equal to blue, and these are the okay, and these are the few check boxes, and the file name I take some file, suppose form.png, which you can see, and here this is a right. If I submit, because the method is a get method, all the values are sent along the value name pair, and all the contents are displayed. Right, this is a short tutorial. This